traditions of Rasulullah narrated from Fatima bint Asad. Because while Abu Talib died before the Hijrah, Fatima went with her son Ali on the night of Hijrah. They went to Masjid Quba where they met Rasulullah a few days later, which I will come to in a few nights inshallah. So Fatima bint Asad narrated a hadith from Rasulullah, more than 46. And that's why I'm not surprised when you have a son like Ali, with his knowledge, with his dedication. You only have to look at the mother for you to know the milk which the son drank, correct or no? The son does not fall far away from the milk, and the apple does not fall far away from the tree. At the end of the day, you know very well that when you look at Fatima bint Asad, the knowledge that she had of Islam, of Rasulullah, of the protection of the religion, that would be infused into her children. So then what happened? This Fatima bint Asad had already had the children previous to Imam Ali. Abbas, the uncle of Rasulullah, and Yazid bin Ka'nab both narrate this incident. And the incident, I will come to the references of the incident in a minute. Abbas, the uncle of Rasulullah, says, I was sitting down by the Kaaba, and next to me was Yazid bin Ka'nab and a few of the ancestors or the descendants of Abd al-Uzza, the clan of Abd al-Uzza. We were sitting down, and we saw Fatima bint Asad, the wife of Abu Talib. We knew that she was pregnant, and it clearly was the last days of her pregnancy, yes? He says that we saw her walking towards the Kaaba, Bab al-Mustajar of the Kaaba. She went towards that section. He says we saw her walking towards there. Then all of a sudden, she raised her hands and recited a dua, yes? They said we remember the dua word by word, yes? She said, Oh Allah, I believe in all your prophets. And I believe in all the scriptures that were sent down with those prophets. And I affirm the covenant that you made with Nabi Ibrahim alayhi salam, the builder of this Kaaba. Yes? So Ya Allah, I ask you in the name of Ibrahim and in the name of the covenant that you made with him and in the name of the one in my womb, make the pangs of pregnancy become easier for me. Listen to her words. These words need to be examined. Firstly, the recognition that dua can break any wall, even God's house's wall. Yes? Never imagine that dua cannot change things in your life. Those of you who listen to this lecture who may have children who aren't very religious, your duas in 1 minute Allah will answer and help them come towards the path. Those of you who are in marriages where there are extreme difficulties in your life, and both of you aren't getting on with each other and you don't know why, then the door of dua is a door that can break any door, can break any wall. Those of you who have children who are not well, recite your dua, for that dua can break any wall. Those of you who find that there is a plight for Muslims in the world and you want their affairs to be Muslims, then all of us, let us join in dua, for that dua can break any wall. At the end of the day, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, Ad'uni astajib lakum. Call upon me, I will answer you. Not just call upon me. Allah says in the Quran, وَإِذَا سَأَلَكَ عِبَادِي عَنِّي فَإِنِّي قَرِيبٌ أُجِيبُ دَعْوَةَ الدَّاعِ إِذَا دَعَانِي. Oh my servant, when my servant asks you about me, say to them that I am near. I answer the supplication of the supplicant when the supplicant supplicates towards me. Yes? Therefore you found, number one, dua in this moment. Fatima bint Asad knew, I'm in front of the Kaaba. I have never seen that anything happen with this Kaaba in terms of it opening up. But I believe in Nabi Ibrahim, and I believe he built this Kaaba. So I will use him as a wasila. Notice. Fatima bint Asad could easily say, Ya Allah, help me. Correct or no? She doesn't need to say, in the name of Ibrahim, in the name of the birth of the one in my womb, in the name of the covenant of Ibrahim. But Allah in the Quran in Surah 5 verse 35 asks us, why don't you use a wasila when you talk to me? Yes? Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. Ya ayyuha alladhina amanu attaqullah wabtaghu ilayhi al-wasila. Many times in Jannat al-Baqi', when people go there, and you have these people who stand by the graves, when you have these people, they say to you, you can only read dua to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Say to them, but Allah in the Quran says, oh you who believe, be conscious of Allah and seek a wasila to reach Him. The wasila that I'm using is the same wasila which Fatima bint Asad is using. Fatima bint Asad could have said, Ya Allah, help me. Nabi Yusuf could have said, Ya Allah, my father Nabi Yaqub is blind, help him. No, I'll send my shirt as a wasila. Yes? Likewise, Fatima bint Asad said, Ya Allah, in the name of Ibrahim, the builder of this house, and in the name of the covenant, and in the name of the one in my womb. Highlighting what? That when you mention the names of some of Allah's chosen loved ones, that dua may be answered quicker. Yes? No one denies that praying directly to Allah will be answered, but a dua may be answered quicker if a person uses who Allah loves. Correct or no? If I'm going to use personalities who Allah loves, then maybe those personalities, when Allah sees their names, He says, because you love them, I will help you. Yes? So when she said that, Abbas bin Abdul Muttalib says, because he's her brother-in-law, of course, he knows her very well, he says that as soon as she said that, we saw the Kaaba open up for her. The walls of the Kaaba opened up, and she entered upon the Kaaba. Said when she entered upon the Kaaba, those walls then closed. I said, me and the others and the whole of Mecca suddenly saw this. All of us came. And when we came, we tried to open, nothing would open. We tried to even smash the door of the Kaaba. Yes? They even got rocks to try and smash the door. It wouldn't open. They got keys to unlock the door of the Kaaba. There was a key to the Kaaba, which the custodians of the Kaaba had. They bought the key wouldn't help open. For 3 days, he says, Mecca was in a frenzy. That how did this woman enter the Kaaba? She's pregnant. And now we're trying to open the Kaaba. There is absolutely no way of opening the Kaaba. So he says that for 3 days, Mecca was in a frenzy. Until on the 4th day, while Mecca was in a frenzy and everyone was waiting to see what happened, on the 4th day, that area where she entered opened up. And Fatima bint Asad emerged with a baby in her hand. And she said, "O people," listen to her words. She said, "O people, Allah has given me and made me greater than Asiyah bint Muzahim and Maryam, daughter of Imran. Because Asiyah bint Muzahim had to go to a secluded place to pray, whereas Allah opened me His house for me to pray. And Maryam bint Imran had to wait for the dates after shaking the tree, whereas Allah sent me the fruits of Jannah while I was giving birth to Ali ibn Abi Talib." Yes? Because Maryam bint Imran, she had to shake the tree. Yes? So then the dates would fall for her. Said, I would receive what? I'd receive the fruits of Jannah in the Kaaba being brought to me. And then she said, while I was in the Kaaba, I heard a voice. Whose voice? Not Jibreel. Jibreel speaks to Maryam. Allah speaks to Fatima. Yes? She heard a voice, and the voice said, "Oh Fatima, name that child Ali. For you take the name from my name. For I am Aliul A'la. Rip my name and give the child the name Ali." Yes? From the name of Allah Al-Ali, like and sometimes we say Sadaqallah Al-Aliyul Azim, correct? Allah's name is Ali. He ripped the name and he said, give that child the name Ali. Then he said to her what? Then he said to her, and this is a vital line, because when he names him Ali, that means number one, Ali ibn Abi Talib is named by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And how many of those who were put on the lists of history next to Ali had been named by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala? One is named after a camel, the other is named after a dog. Yes? Muawiyah means a barking female dog. Yes? One is named after a dog, the other is named after a camel, the other is named after his mother who had a red flag outside her house for men to enter. That's what people were named after. Whereas this man was named after who? Was named by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Allah's name Ali, He gave. And then He said what to Fatima? Listen to what she says. She says, and know one thing. He said to me, give him the name Ali, for I am Aliul A'la, and he takes from my name. And I have put my etiquettes into his character. Yes? Etiquettes into his character. The way Ali acts is the way Allah wants any human to act. Dignity, honor, perseverance, forbearance, patience, trustworthy. Wallah, the more you study Ali ibn Abi Talib, the more perplexed you are with what he is. Correct or no? Normally with a human being, you can have a conclusion about who he is. Correct? Ali ibn Abi Talib, the more you study him, you're perplexed. How can a human being have so many characteristics? Rumi used to say, in bravery, Ali is the lion of his Lord. But in generosity, who knows who he is? Correct? In bravery, we know. Generosity, he can't even put Ali ibn Abi Talib into any characteristic. She said, Allah said, I have put my etiquette into Ali ibn Abi Talib. And I have endowed him with my wisdom. Clear. The hikmah of Ali ibn Abi Talib is hikmah from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Whatever Imam Amir al-Mu'min says is from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Any line you get from Ali ibn Abi Talib, don't you always feel this is an unbelievable line, correct or no? As in if you study all the lines you've learned from Ali ibn Abi Talib, don't you sometimes wonder, is this Quran or is this a human being, correct or no? As in you look at the lines, I do not worship Allah, yes? I do not worship Allah because he says there are three types of worshippers. He says, I don't worship Allah because of my fear of hell, for that is the worship of a slave. Nor do I worship Allah because I want heaven, for that is the worship of a businessman. I worship Allah because I found Allah worthy of worship. That is the worship of a free human being, correct? The hikmah of Ali ibn Abi Talib, every line that Ali ibn Abi Talib tells you, another line of hikmah, beware of the evil of the one you've been generous to. Correct or no? Which human being can tell you a line like this? Beware of the evil of the one you've been generous to. Ali ibn Abi Talib, hikmah. There are those, man is divided into four. There are those who know and know that they know. And there are those who know but don't know that they know. And there are those who don't know and know that they don't know. And there are those who don't know and don't know that they don't know. Which man can talk like this? Pure hikmah from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. She said, Allah said to me, I have given Ali my etiquettes and I have endowed him with my wisdom. And then Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said to me, fortunate is the lover of Ali and wretched is the one who hates him. Wallah, each one of us is fortunate that we were born on the path of Ali ibn Abi Talib. Never forget that. If you lose all the money in your life, let your business collapse. If you lose all the children in your life, if you lose everything you own, while you have Ali ibn Abi Talib, you're always rich. You know, sometimes when I hear people have fallen in depression because his business fell. Petty. You fall in depression because your business fell. Or you fell in depression why his marriage fell. You have Ali ibn Abi Talib, how do you fall into depression? When you have Ali ibn Abi Talib, you should be flying in the world. Because Allah allowed you to be born loving Ali. Those people who have to find Ali, how much respect I have for them. And those who have Ali and do not use him, I feel sorry for them. Fatima bint Asad said, Allah said to me, fortunate is the one who loves Ali ibn Abi Talib, and wretched is the one who hates him. Rasulullah many times would say, you want to know a munafiq? Look at whether he loves Ali or hates him. And how many munafiqun there were around Ali ibn Abi Talib. Yes? How do I know if there's a munafiq? If they fought Ali, they are munafiq. Finished. The wretched is the one who hates Ali. Why? You have to question the birth of the one who hates Ali ibn Abi Talib. Clear? Make sure you question his birth. Question his birth. No one who is pure hates Ali ibn Abi Talib. There are Christians who love Ali ibn Abi Talib, Hindus who love Ali ibn Abi Talib, Sikhs who love Ali ibn Abi Talib. And there are those who claim to be Muslims and they love the ones who fight Ali ibn Abi Talib. Question their birth. Then you'll know what their origin is. And there are hadiths, by the way, of Imam Sadiq would say, question the birth of the one who hates Ali ibn Abi Talib. You'll find out he doesn't know who his dad is and probably doesn't know who his mom was. Anyway, so when you look at this, Fatima bint Asad, you find that she came out and she said all of these lines, and therefore the world understood. And where is this referenced? You find in some of the most famous works of history. Al-Mustadrak, because someone turned around and said, well, this isn't in Bukhari and Muslim. Yes? Someone said it's not in Bukhari and Muslim. Firstly, Habibi, Bukhari and Muslim is not a 900 million billion page book of Islam. Bukhari and Muslim has picked out certain traditions which they believed were reliable. Not everything that someone believes in has to be in Bukhari and Muslim. I'll give you an example. Our brothers from Ahl Sunnah, all of them believe in a hadith. I leave behind for you the Quran and my Sunnah. Correct or no? In Nairobi on Friday, or in Mombasa on Friday, or anywhere in East Africa on Friday, every khatib of Salat al-Jum'ah will say, Rasulullah said, I leave behind for you Quran and my Sunnah. Quran and my Sunnah. Correct? You never hear them say Quran and Ahl al-Bayt. True? Isn't it always Quran and my Sunnah? Say, where is it? Where's the hadith? Bukhari? No. Muslim? No. Muslim says Quran and Ahl al-Bayt. Why do you lie to the people? Tell them what Muslim says. Tirmidhi? No. Nasa'i? No. Abu Dawud? No. Ibn Majah? No. Hold on. So the most famous hadith in Ahl Sunnah, I leave behind for you the Quran, my Sunnah, is in none of the 6 Sahihs. They're like, what do you mean it's not? It must be in Bukhari. No. Muslim? No. If you're lucky, you'll find it in Malik's Muwatta. You won't find it in any of the 6 Sahih. Does that mean I discount the hadith? No. It's rational to follow the Quran and to follow the Sunnah of Rasulullah. If you're a Muslim, you have to follow the two. Correct or no? But when you say to me that Ali being born in the Kaaba is not in Bukhari and Muslim, there's a principle. If a hadith is not in Bukhari and Muslim, but is accepted by Bukhari and Muslim standards for taking a hadith as reliable, then it should be in Al-Mustadrak ala Sahihain of Al-Hakim and Nisapuri. Al-Hakim al-what? Nisapuri. Sometimes other Muslims, you know what they come and say? You Shia are all Iranians, correct? Do you hear that or no? All you Shia are Iranians. Habibi, look at your names in your books and then you'll know who was really Iranian at the beginning. Bukhari, Muslim, bin Hajjaj al-Nisapuri, Al-Hakim al-Nisapuri, Abu Hanifa is Iranian, Fakhr al-Razi, Iranian, Ghazali, Iranian. Who was Iranian, me or you? Anyway, let me not get into that because then there'll be another demolishing job. Anyway, so when you look at this, you find if a hadith is not in Bukhari or Muslim, please take this as a principle, then where will you find it? Al-Mustadrak ala Sahihain. The overview of the 2 Sahih. Sahihain means what? Bukhari and Muslim. Yes, Sahihain, the 2. Al-Mustadrak is the overview of the 2. If Bukhari and Muslim miss the hadith, Al-Hakim takes the hadith and puts it in there according to their standards. In Al-Mustadrak ala Sahihain, first reference, Ali ibn Abi Talib is born in the Kaaba. Yes? Second reference, where Mas'udi in Muruj al-Dhahab says Ali ibn Abi Talib was born in the Kaaba. Where else do you find this? Halabi in his Sirah, he says Ali ibn Abi Talib was born in the Kaaba. Where else do you find it? In the Sharh of the Ayniyah, Al-Umari says Ali ibn Abi Talib was what? Was born in the Kaaba. Where else do you find it? Ibn Sabbagh al-Maliki in Al-Fusul al-Muhammad, what does he say? He says that Ali ibn Abi Talib was born where? Was born in the Kaaba. Who else says this? Shablanji in Nur al-Absar, Ali ibn Abi Talib, born in the Kaaba. Who else says this? Muhammad bin Yusuf al-Shafi'i in Kifayat al-Talib says Ali ibn Abi Talib, born in the Kaaba. Of the contemporary thinkers, Muhammad Sa'id al-Tantawi, former head of Al-Azhar, in his book on the 10 companions granted paradise, Ali ibn Abi Talib, born in the Kaaba. Who else says this? Aqad, let's say not a scholar, but rather a sociologist, in Abqariyat Ali ibn Abi Talib, he says it. Ali ibn Abi Talib, born in the Kaaba. Forget our books. Forget Shaykh al-Mufid in the Irshad. Forget Allam al-Majlisi in the Bihar. In the books of Ahl Sunnah, whether it's Al-Mustadrak, whether it's Mas'udi's Muruj al-Dhahab, whether it's Nur al-Absar al-Shablanji, whether it's Muhammad bin Yusuf al-Shafi'i and Kifayat al-Talib, all of them make it clear that Imam Ali ibn Abi Talib was born where? Was born inside the Kaaba. All of these books of literature. Someone says, okay, but Ahl Sunnah also say that Hakim bin Huzam, the nephew of Khadija, was born in the Kaaba. Firstly, Hakim bin Huzam, Al-Hakim al-Nisapuri in the Mustadrak says clearly, Hakim bin Huzam was not born in the Kaaba. He says this is a weak hadith. He cites the mentioning of the narrator Mus'ab in the chain to highlight that it's a weak hadith, number 1. Number two, Hakim bin Huzam became Muslim in the 8th year after Hijrah, after the opening of Mecca. He was one of those whose hearts was inclined to Islam. Al-Mu'allafati qulubuhum. He became Muslim right at the end of Rasulullah's life. And even Rasulullah used to rebuke him for the way he used to walk in the markets. A man of low character, not a man of the highest character at all. Even this man, Hakim bin Huzam, lived until the age of 120. Never once did he say, I was the one born in the Kaaba, in contrast to Ali ibn Abi Talib on many occasions said, I'm the one who was born in the Kaaba. Therefore, those who try to say Hakim bin Huzam, why? Hakim bin Huzam was a propaganda ploy. Why? The Zubayrids, the likes of Zubair bin Bakkar, wanted to make sure that they had someone from their line, in contrast to the Umayyads, in contrast to the Abbasids, who was born in the Kaaba. You see, many times, I'm sure you've noticed in these lectures, so much politics goes into hadith, correct or no? The Umayyad wants to push his hadith. The Abbasid wants to push his hadith. The Zubayrid wants to push his hadith. Someone says, okay, but you Shia also want to push your hadith. Habibi, I'm narrating from your books about our beliefs. One of the greatest wisdoms, I always believe, that our books were burnt in history. You know what the wisdom was? Allah wanted the victors to even prove we were right. Normally,